Okay, so hello everyone and welcome back to episode 2 of Mindset Monday. Today I'm joined by Mr. LividDS, or Livid as you may know him. He's been a member of Expand now for, when was it now? July that he joined? July?
I think it was July 2020.
So he's been with us for quite some time. He's took a little bit of a break, but he is willing to jump on the Mindset Monday podcast and talk about some of the things that he's been up to and some of the things that he's been doing throughout lockdown. So he's a very sort of important member to us, as you all are, but he's been here from the very start, so we're just going to get a little bit of an insight of what he thought the community was like. And don't get me wrong, I did see your feedback from the last one, and you said that I do need to be a little bit closer to the microphone so you hear me a little bit louder. So I hope this time round it is a little bit better. But if not, apologies, I'll get it right in episode 3, I'm sure. So yeah, Livid, do you want to introduce yourself, bud?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Livid. Dave is my real name. I am 23 years old, and I live in the Netherlands in a small town, or it's not very small. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the Netherlands, actually. It's about half an hour away from Amsterdam. Everyone knows Amsterdam. Any other city, no one knows. So let's just keep it Amsterdam. I work with children who either have autism or anxiety issues and basically like stress disorders. That's kind of how I could put it.
That's amazing, man. I actually didn't know that. That's new.
Yeah, no, that's actually something new. That's also been in development over the last couple of months. So
fair play, mate. Fair play.
Yeah,
enjoying it?
I am. It is very rewarding, and it's just really fun to do. So I'm gonna keep doing that for a long time. I feel like.
Blame you, mate. I don't blame you. It's an amazing job to have. Very well done, mate. Very well done. So, obviously, you joined Expand back in July. From then to now, how do you think it's been? Obviously, you took quite a vast break from the community. You were here before we had 100 members even involved in the community. So you've seen it sort of become what it is today. Do you think it has grown and come on leaps and bounds, or do you think we have still got... Because, funny enough, there is still a lot of people when you were here are still around now, which is amazing to see, but there's so many more people that you've potentially spoken to fairly recently, I'd imagine. Do you think it's still as good as it used to be?
I think it's even better, and I've said this before. I've always seen kind of the potential of the server and of the community itself. Back when I was also a staff member, which happened very rapidly. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, there was, it just started as a community that was just all about like having fun role-playing GTA. And then it came a little further than that by basically using Discord and live streams through various platforms to kind of reach this goal of being there for people and having people be able to speak their minds and speak, whatever they want to talk about.
Yeah.
And something beautiful that came out of this was Mindset Monday, which I was very excited to join.
I think it's a very new sort of platform for people to get on. And if you are watching this and you have not met Livid, he's been on a break for some time, but I'm sure he'll be back within the coming months, and you'll be able to meet him within roleplay if you really want to, or just have a chat with him over Discord. He's one of a kind. Obviously, we value him very, very highly, as we do all our members. But one of the things prior to you leaving was, I think you unlocked a part of the community that I wanted to go down the route of, but we saw what the community was doing for yourself and for many others. Many others didn't really realise it. So I'm super duper thankful for what you did prior. prior to you going on your break. Do you want to talk about what was sort of mentioned in that live stream, or?
Yeah, well, for the people who watched the last live stream that I did, which is the actual last live stream that I did, it was a very emotional live stream that we did. Basically, at the end, it was all about role play. At the beginning, I kind of started the stream like, okay, I'm just gonna stream some role play and blah blah blah. And then at the end of the stream, when I was actually about to end the stream, a lot of people came in and we started to just chill and talk about a lot of things. And then a raid came, and that is how it kind of progressed. And then I kind of talked about like my view over problems that people have, and how I myself also have a lot to learn about opening up to people, and that is very important, especially in the times that we are still in right now. And back then we were also in with the entire coronavirus and the crisis, and I would almost say Brexit, but that's not.
There's so much.
There's so much happening. There's so much happening, and there's so much. Like, people are so divided from each other, and I keep talking about this all the time, and about how the world has to reunite in a sense.
I'm sure there'll become a day after all this
coronavirus
is over. But
it's actually really funny to see, because the world kind of needs disaster to open its eyes again. It was the same thing with like, it sounds really, really crazy when I say I'm really extreme, but you saw it with World War II, and like between the years between World War I and World War II, where countries were very divided, and there was all these, like, everyone was enemies of each other or allies, and it wasn't really united at all. And then after World War II, you kind of saw that a lot of countries would ally each other again, speak about things again, and it kind of became more united. And it happened the same way with the coronavirus, where everyone started to realize that, holy shit, if you need to stay inside, and if all these crazy stuff happens and you have no one to talk to, that kind of brought people back together. And I feel like that is also a thing that Expand Network does too, throughout their community, and especially the Discord.
Yeah, it's second to none, isn't it? I mean, not to blow smoke up any of our asses, but I think the community is like no other. I can't stress that enough. We are the only, as I know, I'm not going to say world, because I'm not sure in the world there probably is, but we are the only mental health focused gaming community in the UK. And even still, we've got people like yourself internationally across the world that support what we do, and we are unbelievably thankful for that. So I really do appreciate you coming on and having a chat with us, Livid. Overall, obviously we've seen so many people sort of come in and take positives away from what we've done for people. Have you took any positives from yourself? Was it sort of the odd distraction every day, or was there a lift of motivation in areas? What do you think you got from it personally? I
think from the entire experience, I got a really weird experience, but at the same time a very positive experience. And I want to talk about that, but I think we should just kind of start a little bit slow and then go into the more deep stuff. But yeah, for me, playing on Expand unlocked something in me that was not necessarily positive, but it did bring a lot of positive things with it. And I think that it's just been a way to kind of hint towards something that I had to do to live through the rest of my life. And that sounds extreme, but that is what it is.
Yeah, most definitely.
And it wasn't Expand itself, it was just everything that came with it. But yeah, it's been a crazy ride, let's just say it like that. It's been a short one too, but at the same time it's been a really long one.
Yeah, I think especially through, we've all gone through some very sort of tough times at the minute through coronavirus, and it's so amazing to see so many people come together and mental health to be in the limelight, because I do feel there's such a stigma about that. I mean, you know, read my t-shirt for yourself. It says end the stigma. To us, it matters the world, but to others, I don't think it did really until, or you know, through lockdown. Not many people have actually experienced what it's like to experience anxiety or minor depression or wherever it may be. A lot of people saw it firsthand and either had to support someone or go through it themselves. And I think it's opened a lot of people's eyes to the fact that this does happen to a lot more people than you think, and not many people actually open up about it. And it's so good. I think Mindset Monday is an amazing opportunity for people to see, even if it is 10 people that watch this, I don't care. I want people to see that whatever they're going through, they are not alone at all, and that's what we're going to discuss, you know, today, the next episode, and for there onwards. We will always talk about what you're going through, and if you have any sort of topics or questions, do by all means leave them in the comments or contact me directly in the Discord, which is also in the description, and I'll make sure to include on the next Mindset Monday. But I think it's really good that people have now seen within the world that so many people support each other, whether it be virtually. You don't always have to be there physically to comfort someone who's going through a tough time. And we've seen so many different characters link up with each other, whether it be the consistency of pressure from school and the anxiety that brings because you're working from home and it's a very sort of tough experience. Using gaming, we've been able to sort of create a platform for people that say, oh, you're at school, oh, so am I, oh, well, why don't we talk about it and come up with a plan and set each other goals to get over what we're getting through together. And it's that partnership and team sort of exercise, shall we say, that pushes people over that boundary of saying, do you know what, wherever I'm going through at the minute, I'm going to push through it with Joe Blogs or whoever the name may be. And all 800 members within the Discord at any point have got something from the community, whether it be a distraction, a smile, a laugh, talking to someone, just conversation. It distracts you from what's currently going on in the world, and that's what gaming does. That's why we enjoy it. I think usually, more often than not, it gives our minds a break from wherever it is that we're currently going through, and Expand pushes it to make it as immersive as possible, should we say, to make sure that you don't think about what you're currently going through unless you need someone to talk to, and we are that virtual shoulder to cry on.
I think it's something that is really underestimated by people. Having people to talk to, even if they are only digital, in a sense, like they are real people, but you don't see them, you don't know who they are in real life, and all that type of jazz. But as a gamer, getting to know someone like super deeply in a way that it would almost feel like it is a real life friend, even though you've never seen each other. That is something that is so underestimated, and that it gets so, like, people don't understand it. I'm just gonna drop it there. I've always had my parents tell me, how are you sitting behind your computer talking to people all day in a language you do not usually speak, and feel like they're your actual friends? And it's like, you wouldn't understand if you don't haven't experienced it yourself. It is something that gets so underestimated, and people, especially parents and all those people that aren't really into gaming, or keep saying, oh, we didn't grow up with a PlayStation, we played outside, and that type of
generation.
Exactly.
Is. My parents are the exact same. My parents do not have a clue, what's going on. And for the first time ever, they watched episode 1 of the Mindset Mondays, the first ever podcast, and I think reality sort of hit what we were doing. So they're super, super supportive. So if you are watching this, hello. I am thankful, and I'll have a brew whenever you're ready. But yeah, I think their generation is doesn't work like ours, does it? They didn't have this virtual world to sort of communicate with each other. They talked through each other through plastic.
It wasn't even the virtual world per se. It was more the fact that now, if you want to talk to someone in whatever China, because you want to learn Chinese, or you are playing a game on your whatever PC, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever you play, and you meet a guy online and you're talking in English, which is not like your native tongue or whatever. Those things are possible, and back then it wasn't possible, and that is something that my dad always likes to say. It's like, yeah, when I was looking for friends, I would go to like a soccer club, or I would go to I would go play some type of team sport so that I can meet all people. And I'm like, Dad, you don't have to do that nowadays anymore. Sure, you meet a lot of people in school and in at your workplace and like sports clubs, sure, but I mean, friendship is not only, or a connection with someone is not only achieved by actually knowing each other and seeing each other. It can also be done through other ways, and I think that is beautiful, especially in these times where we've seen even like applications on your phone being developed to meet people to just have a chat with.
Yeah.
It's like Tinder for friendship.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. It's crazy. Those apps are actually available right now.
Yeah.
And I think that is the entire concept too of Expand, where there's so many people, and there must be one out of those, what is it, 800 people now? 800. There must be one out of those 800 people that, either goes through the same thing, or likes the same thing, or plays the same instrument, or
so many interests,
just connects to you.
Yeah, so many interests, and it's actually surprising how many mutual interests you will have once you speak to someone, or speak to a few of them. Josh Stimpy, for one, I spoke to him once or twice, and instantly I found out he was 20 minutes down the road. He's trying to book his test. This is just when coronavirus was sort of slowly reducing its restrictions, so you can start booking tests again and driving and whatnot. And I got so much information of just talking to him, and we got onto the topic about cars, and then we spoke about cars for about an hour and a half. And it was just being able to chat with someone over the internet and not having to worry about a single thing apart from that conversation that you were having with someone. And it's always good to have that someone to have a conversation with. Now, you might not think that you have anyone to talk to, because I've been there. I think we all have at some point. We've all thought that there hasn't been anyone to talk to, and eventually you realise that there's so many that are willing, they are open ears, and they want to hear about whatever it is that you're going through or what you've done throughout the day, especially in Expand, and I'm sure in other places too.
It's really weird because I as I'm taking a break from like gaming in general and not being really involved in a community in that sense, kind of being on the backside. It's really weird because I was actually talking about this like 2 days ago, I think, with my girlfriend too, where me and my girlfriend now do walks, and if we're doing something, we're always doing it together. I don't really see friends right now. I can't really see them because we are in lockdown and just difficult. And I literally said to her, like, I am so sick and tired of not being able to see anyone else but you.
Yeah.
And I didn't even mean it as like a mean thing. She didn't catch it as a mean thing, which I'm grateful for. But she understood what I meant. It was like when you realize that you can't see anyone and you don't have anyone but like one person. At some point you're gonna feel lonely, even though you may still have that person.
Yeah.
Like your partner or your parents or whatever, but you just want that contact. And gaming is something that there's so many people in that community, in just the gamers in general. You will always have like multiple people to talk to, or even with games, you might have for one game have one group of people that you play with, and for another game you have another group, and they meet up, and you have like a mutual Discord server and all that. It's crazy. Gaming is such a good way to kind of fill those blanks in that we're missing now.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. I think gaming overall has definitely seen an increase over lockdown. Whether you've been on furlough when you've not been able to work, people have been sort of filling in their time, playing games and whatnot, especially people around my age. So I think it's good that they have contact with not just one person but many others over the internet, and have that sort of feeling that they're not alone, and they're going through the exact same thing. They're going through lockdown, and their experience is similar to what you are too.
Yep, crazy thing, internet.
It is.
World Wide Web. Who would have thought when they discovered that you could set up a system that would go worldwide and everyone would be able to Google a recipe, would actually turn into something very valuable and change the entire world, basically.
Yeah, mad. It is mad. Cool. So our life goes on, I suppose. Progression.
Yeah.
How have you been getting on over lockdown anyway?
It's been quite decent in the sense that I've been able to work the entire coronavirus time because I work in healthcare, so that just it continues. It doesn't stop. So I've always worked and I've always had something to do in that sense. There were some things that were also kind of negative, and that was one of the things why I took a break from gaming, was that gaming was becoming a little problematic because it was so time consuming, and it took up like most of the things that I would do on a day. It was only gaming, sitting behind my PC, and it took a toll at some point, hence why I quit. Overall, I've not felt bad because of the lockdown, but there were a lot of things that I started realizing and started like learning about myself that made for bad situations, or for me feeling bad.
Anything specific in regards to that?
Well, it was mostly my performance anxiety, the fact that the gaming was becoming so problematic that it actually had influence on my education, my work, and even my relationship. Those were the things that were the most difficult in that entire thing, and now that I'm focusing on different things than gaming and doing other things than gaming, I start realizing that I also miss just social contact and just everything that I kind of neglected by sitting behind my computer all day.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you sort of step away from it, it is good to take a break. Definitely away from your computer and just sort of have real life social contact. Obviously, not many people can do that at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on where you are. If you're in New Zealand, I know they're having a bit of a party at the minute, aren't they? They've not got any form of case.
I think it's Australia. Australia, like Melbourne, had like 0 infections, and they are literally just back to normal. I don't know how it is now, but yeah, it's crazy. I can't even imagine it.
I know.
It's been so long.
It has been a very long time. I agree.
Yeah. I really hope that soon I will be able to travel and do stuff, and even just go to a fucking bar or whatever. I don't know if I can swear. I just did anyway. I don't care. Just go to a bar, or grab a drink with one of your friends without having to watch if police is watching, or having to be afraid of getting a ticket for 95 euros because you're outside while you can't be outside.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's such a strange world that we live in at the minute.
It is. It really is.
We've got to be fortunate in the case of a lot of people in a much more severe situation than we are. That's the way I've always looked at it, in a sense of I'm lucky to still be sat here working daily when so many other poor unfortunate people are sitting in hospital, suffering with such a horrible infected illness.
And it's not even. It's like, yeah, it is bad. The people in the hospital and stuff, but it goes so much broader than that too. It's the people that sit at home with their wives, and there's so many domestic violence cases right now going on because of the fact that everyone is just sitting on each other's lips the entire day. It is crazy. There's so much happening to people. There's so many children that can't go outside because their parents are vulnerable for the virus, so they can't go to school or they can't play outside because they're afraid that they're gonna get infected. And you see, especially with the kids that I work with, I do have those cases, and I just see that those kids really just miss the just go outside.
Yeah.
Such simple things that should be normal that can't be normal right now, and it has such an impact on everyone.
I think the world will enjoy, or be a lot more thankful for the simpler things after all this is over. I know I will. I really, really look forward to, I've not seen my friends now in over a year. I could not wait just to be able to say, do you know what, let's go for a meal. Let's go for something to eat.
Exactly. Just
a beer,
literally just get a simple beer. Like,
yeah.
That is something that I look so much towards.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
And
Yeah.
I will never ever take that for granted. I mean, I've got a holiday booked for June. I don't think that's going to happen. But I booked it with hope and optimism that it was going to happen. But I will never take the little things for granted ever again. Never. I don't. To be honest with you, I never originally. But I think it was just because that was the normality of it all. You know, weekend comes along, you go out with your friends, get a bite to eat, you know, whatever it may be, whatever you do. But now that's been took away from us. It'll never be taken. It'll never be taken for granted ever again.
I think it will definitely change people in the way they think about things.
Yeah.
You know, for us, it's so normal. Like you said, it's so normal to do some things. While in the back of your head, you're also thinking, well, there's actually countries that have this all year, every single day, of not being able to do certain stuff, and we only can't do it because of a virus going on or epidemic.
Definitely.
Those are also issues that, come above, and people will start talking more about. I think there's a good change happening right now in the world, and I think coronavirus did kind of cause that. Even though we're not happy with it and everyone is complaining, which I do understand, there's a lot of good things happening right now too. And
most definitely, I agree.
Yeah, I'm just happy to see that.
Yeah. Something interesting, because I know I've sort of suffered with it. Motivation during lockdown. Do you feel like you've lacked motivation? Because I think, prior to lockdown there was this case of jump out of bed, go to work, but now, for me personally, I work from home, so I'll roll out about 5 minutes before I start my shift and log on and then do my shift, and then I'll forget and I'll just keep working over the time that I should have finished, and then I'm just like, well, that's it. But I still lack motivation during the day, and I think it's because we don't have those certain things of the freedom of doing whatever we want, going out with friends and whatnot. So how have you found motivation? Have you lacked it during lockdown, or have you found it okay?
I think it's been okay. I just think my focus has been somewhere else, at least during the last half of the lockdown, the crisis, where in the start I was like, it didn't really affect me in any way. Like I said, I work in healthcare, so that keeps going, and I had the pleasure of being able to go to work and not having to stay at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot of things. So, I mean, there were things already going on before even the entire virus broke out. and those just got worse at some point. And indeed, motivation did at that point kind of go down to make things better because it didn't feel like it was really
Yeah.
worth to do so. And in the second part of the crisis, it felt more that that motivation was actually going up into, taking the time for myself to develop myself and become someone that I want to be, instead of always uh, being weighted by that person that I used to be,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
That is very, very relatable. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
I do feel like it brought a lot of changes for me. It wasn't really, it's not even changes, it's more realization and like learning from your mistakes and taking the time to do so, because you have the time to do so. There's no, you don't really have anyone telling you, oh, you need to do this, or oh, you need to do that, or it's not the normal day of business. And there's, for me personally, there's not been a day this entire, like last year, the entire coronavirus, where it was always the same.
Yeah.
There was, for me, there was so much happening, especially inside my head, and with all the things that I was working on for myself, it was never the same. Although it did go very fast.
Yeah, I think
Like 2020 was over in a blink.
it was strange. It did go extremely fast. It was
Yeah.
even this year. We're almost in March already, which is nuts. Really is crazy. One of the things that obviously you mentioned then about sort of self-development, I'd lost a lot of confidence. I've still not regained it back. I used to be very sort of, I could go outside and talk to anyone, and the cashier, when I went shopping, I could just be like, yeah, I can have a bag, blah blah blah. And I feel there's like so much social anxiety at the minute and confidence that I'm lacking, and I'm putting that down to coronavirus, and also the fact that I don't give myself time to work on myself as much anymore. So that's something that I'm going to work on. I think self-development, if you're watching this video, give yourself some time to give yourself some self-care and show yourself some appreciation, because you're doing an amazing job and you deserve every reward that you get from doing so too. I think Liver can agree with that too.
Yeah, there's never a perfect time to work on yourself. That is what I always want to say. Like, but you have to take the time to do so. You have to take the time to kind of look onto, like, have a little bit of a reflection on yourself. Like, okay, where do I want to be in 5 years? How do I see myself in 5 years? How have I been in the last couple of years? And is there anything that I would like to do different, or is there anything that I would like to prevent in the future, or even do again in the future because I was proud of it or whatever? And I think now is such a perfect time to do so, just because that there's just a lot less responsibilities that you have right now.
Yeah.
So growing up it's been made simpler for a lot of us.
Definitely.
Yeah, and like you said, like, I don't really have like the social anxiety per se, but something I was dealing with, and I have been dealing with for a long time, is the fact that me not feeling very secure about myself. Like, I was pretty insecure in a way. I didn't show as if I was insecure. People wouldn't say about me that I'm insecure, because I'm not. I don't show it towards like social context and all that.
I feel like,
Yeah, it's mostly personal. So what I started to realize was, and this is, my girlfriend is probably not watching, but thanks to her, I did start to realize that there were actually really problematic things coming with that, with being so insecure about myself, and also, like I said earlier, the performance anxiety that I had for a long time, stagnating a lot of things in, especially school, where I kind of just, I give up like motivation to do certain things, and I kind of how do I say that? I kind of try to make myself look better than I am towards other people because I'm afraid that I'm being judged by people.
I'm the exact same, mate.
Yeah, and something that came with that was lying, which is something that I really hate when other people lie to me. I usually don't lie about things. I don't lie about things. I'm a pretty honest person, except for when it's about me. When someone asks me something, and it can be the simplest things, like if my mom asks me, "Have you made your bed? Have you changed the things on your bed?" And I wouldn't have done it, but I know she asked twice.
Yeah,
I would say, "Yeah, of course I did it."
I feel that.
And then you just start, and there were worse lies that I made. There were a lot of things that I would tell by myself that made me look more interesting than I am. And that became problematic. And when I actually started to like dig deeper into why am I doing this? What am I feeling? In the moment that I have this need to lie about myself, that is when I was able to change things around. And that was kind of during the break that I took from gaming, where basically my girlfriend confronted me on the fact that there was so much shit that I was doing that was just, she felt ashamed of me because she was watching my stream in the last stream and she said, "I don't know you like that. I have no clue who you are." And that was something that hurt because I was thinking, that is who I am, but I do get where she's coming from. It's not something that I would show towards her, or it just felt like it wasn't honest.
I think a lot of emotions are hidden. I'm the exact same. Like, I'll put on this front, that'll be absolutely perfectly fine. That's not always the case. You know what I mean? I could easily sit here numerous times and say, "Oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine," and I'm not. And I'm a bit of a hypocrite, to be honest, because I push people to talk about it. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, I'd rather help people than help myself.
Yeah, and that's the issue, because I have that too. I have that need. I feel that need to always be doing things or talking about things that are like outside of me. I don't want to talk about me. I don't want to do anything for me. I just want to do something for you so I feel better.
That's exactly me.
And that is a problem, or that starts to become a problem once it has an impact on different things in your life, especially a relationship. Which I'm in a relationship for 2.5 years. I am very grateful to still have her after all the things that I have done to her in a sense. But she knows and hopes that I start to realize things and that I learn from the mistakes I make, and she wants to support me in that, and I'm very grateful for that. If you are watching, which I don't think you are, but if you are watching, thank you. I love you.
Thank you, Mrs. Livid. Miss Livid or Mrs. Livid?
Yeah, Mrs. Livid, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's always good to have someone that's very supportive next to you. And it's important to do so.
And don't get me wrong, by the way, it doesn't have to be a girlfriend. It can be anyone.
No. Yeah, definitely.
No, just for the people who are watching it, if they're thinking, "Oh, I should get a girlfriend that is supportive too, or a boyfriend that's supportive." No, you don't.
You don't.
It can be anyone.
No, it can be simply anyone, even yourself. Sometimes I think it's always good to be with your own thoughts. And personally, I live on quite an interesting quote that not many people have heard. I only heard it in the past sort of month, and I tell it to myself every day. I said, if I had 60 seconds to live, would I be proud of the position that I'm currently in? Would I be happy, passing away today? And would I have made my parents proud enough And if the answer is no, work harder. Until
Yeah.
that point of view, you sit there and you go, I'm happy where I am.
And I think that's kind of the thing, going back on what I said about the thing, like questioning yourself, where do I want to be in 5 years, or where do I? It's kind of the same idea of literally taking a moment and taking the silence and just having a moment for yourself where you are reflecting on who you are, what you do, and if it's making you happy. And if the answer is no to any of the questions you ask yourself, then your next question is, how am I going to change that? How am I going to feel happy?
Yeah.
And one thing that I do recommend is, if you answer one of the questions you ask yourself with no, and you ask yourself, how am I going to change that, and your answer is, I don't know, talk to someone, seek help, just do anything outside of yourself to make sure that you can achieve those things. Because I think that is something that a lot of people do. They will reflect on themselves, but if they don't know how to change things, they will just keep it to themselves and kind of go on.
Yeah.
Well, it can be very valuable to just seek someone out to help you with finding out what you want to know or what you want to change. And that is something that I have done. I wouldn't have been able to do all of that without professional help. I've sought professional help. I'm not ashamed of it. I am very happy that I did it. And I really encourage anyone to also do it, even if it's about the smallest things. It helps, and it can only make you better.
Most definitely, yeah. As long as you are doing something that allows progress for yourself, it definitely does. And if you are within our Discord, we have got a page there called Professional Help, or Professional Support, sorry. And there's plenty of organisations there that would be willing to give you and provide professional help. Obviously, we're not professionals in any way, shape or form. We are just a virtual shoulder to cry on, and someone that you can vent to, or we'll always fire back some advice for you and set yourself some goals. We'll do everything that we can to make you feel better, but it is always good to seek professional support, and please do not hesitate to do so, especially if you're watching this now. If you feel like you need it, please do so, and retrieve it. You deserve it, especially for yourself.
Actually, you deserve it. That is something that you need to keep telling yourself, because you don't have to be ashamed for seeking help, and it's okay that seeking help is something that is hard to do or hard to admit that you need help. That is already something that is very hard. And taking that first step towards looking on a website or writing an email to someone, those are hard steps, but you deserve to take those steps because it will improve you as a person and make you feel better. And I think I just encourage it. I really encourage it, that anyone who thinks that they need help, seek help. It is okay, and please do, because sometimes it is better to let others in instead of trying to carry the weight of the world on your own shoulders.
It's better to talk about it than bottle it up.
Yeah.
I used to do it a lot. I still do. I'll still sit here and bottle a lot of it up, and I'll sit in. I'll play it down myself, and I'll be like, man, I'll be okay. I'll sort it, and then eventually it sometimes can get too much, and you've got to just say, listen, mate, whoever it may be, I'm not feeling great about this topic, and they will always be there for you to chat to. I'm sure of it, and someone that's going to provide support and be there for you when you need them most. It's always good to have someone there for you, and we are there too. Not many people know about us yet. I said this in the first episode. Not many people know about us yet, and I hope a day does come where people do. We're not professionals in any way, shape or form, but everyone.
I kind of am, but
well, technically you are. Yeah, but I think everyone, if not most of people in the community, have been through something in any way, shape or form, and will be super willing and supportive to give advice if you feel the need to. But again, we're not professionals. I feel like I keep needing to say that we're not. Just if you feel like you need just a virtual someone to chat to, or you want to play games with someone, by all means get involved. We are like no other.
It doesn't matter that you're not professionals. Doing something is always better than doing nothing.
Yeah,
and I think
definitely.
That mindset is so strong for a gaming community to kind of have that mindset of, if you need us, we are here always. And encourage that thing of, talk to us. We don't judge you. We don't.
Yeah, it's super
there's you're not alone. People go through the same things as you do, and there is a way out. There is help. There's a way to get better. And I think that is beautiful that Expand can give that to people.
Yeah, it's unique.
That is actually something that I want to talk about because I think it's very interesting. It's that I'm just going to talk about my own experience, and I just want to point this out because I know there will be people that will look at this and say, shit, I might be experiencing the same thing. The big reason why I quit gaming, and I think I've self-diagnosed this. I've not been to like an actual professional that would diagnose this, but I've self-diagnosed that I have a gaming addiction. And I base that upon the fact that I used gaming as an escape of the real world and of my problems, and it would actually help me feel better, and if I didn't have it, it would suck, basically. It is not in the way that where you see those videos of people that literally shit in a bottle and piss in a bottle and just sit behind their computer all day, because I would go out and I do have friends and I do do other stuff. But yeah, that getaway of not having to be me was very nice, and something that I was seeking shelter in all the time. And because of my performance anxiety and my insecurity, it was an easy way to escape, because I didn't have to prove myself to anything or anyone.
Definitely.
And that felt comfortable. And I really hope that if you are watching this and you're thinking, okay, I can kind of relate to this, don't be rattled. Like, you don't have to necessarily have that same thing. It might just be that you like gaming, but if you feel like it has an impact on things like school or things like work, or do something with it, because it might eventually turn into something. And that is personally, for me, that is how it went. It just didn't feel right anymore. I had to be confronted by someone else, which in this case was my girlfriend. And I'm still ashamed of that, because deep inside I knew that what I was doing was not okay. And I did it anyway, and I kept doing it because I just couldn't get out of the loop.
Yeah.
And, with coronavirus being here, making it worse, but it's been like this for years, and it's just been getting progressively worse. And this is just me admitting this to basically myself. One of the reasons that I also wanted to do it, because I've never really spoken out about it, instead of the people that have helped me before with it.
Proud of you, bud.
So
It's big time.
Yeah, it is weird. This is the only thing that I felt really how do you say that, really nervous about saying here.
Non-judgmental, mate. I've said this to numerous people. I'm not going to sit there and judge you. No one is. And I'm not going to change my opinion on you in the slightest.
No.
So, the fact
I judge myself. I think that is that is the problem, more that I'm judging myself for it and thinking that it's not okay, even though I do encourage other people and tell people that, you know, anything is okay. You can talk about everything. But like I said, I'd like to help others over myself, and now I'm choosing myself. So that is, yeah. I hope people understand that too. I know a lot of people have been saying, you know, we miss you and we want you to come back, and you know, there might be a big, how do you say that? A big chance that I might not be back for a very long time. Because in this case, I'm choosing myself over others, not because I want to be, but because I have to. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be fine.
Yeah, you've got to make sure you're fine.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure you're good. That's the most important thing. But I'm sure everyone can understand that, and I'm sure if you're watching this now, you can see from Livid's perspectives that it's good to show yourself some self-care and take a break and support yourself when you need it, and seek help when you do also need that too.
Yeah, and reflect on yourself. That is something that's really
reflection's really good. Well, I'm really proud of you, mate. The fact that you've come on and you know you spoke about it. It's
something I don't like to admit, but I know I have to in a way, because
this is the thing, mate. Sometimes you've just got to say it how it is, and the thing is, if you say it and admit it to yourself, you're going to make the biggest impact, because you've openly said, you know, I'm going through this thing and I'm going to do whatever it takes to overcome it. And it's always good to have that mindset of thinking, I've got a challenge, I've got a hurdle, I've got an obstacle, I'm going to do whatever it takes to jump over that.
Exactly. No obstacles too high to overcome.
No, mate. Not at all. At all.
Mental health, it matters. Please be aware of it.
It does.
End the stigma.
End the stigma, yeah. Yeah. It's an amazing thing, mental health. You just got to make sure that you manage it.
I think the most important message is just that, you know, you're never alone. There's always people out there that go through things. Everyone goes through things. There's no one that has never felt unhappy. There's no one who's ever not felt lonely. There's no one who's ever not felt insecure, even if it was about a dress you're wearing, or maybe your hair not being okay in a day of school or whatever. There's always something going on, and it's okay to talk about those things if they really bother you, or if they're having an impact on you, because, you know, just not talking about things, not addressing things will only make things progressively worse. I've seen it firsthand. I'm ashamed that I knew it was going on, but I never did anything with it. I'm ashamed of the fact that I actually let it go so far that it would impact other people too, that cared about me and always said to me, like, hey, you know, I seen this and this happening, or you please be careful about it. And I would say, yeah, it's fine. You know, it's like, it's all right. I'll overcome. I'll be better. And I would just be lying to myself about it, because I knew I wasn't gonna change, because I didn't know how to change, and I didn't want help because I thought it was scary to get help. And then I got help, and I was like, I could literally, it felt as if I could finally breathe again. It's like, holy shit, I wasn't cured, and I knew that, and I'm still not there. I'm still not where I want to be. I'm still not where I should be. And should be, I mean, that is where I've set my goal. I know that's a fact, but, you know, I'm progressively getting better, and I'm feeling better, and I'm
day by day
getting better, and I'm reaching that goal. And that is something that I've found really important, that I've never in my life did for myself, like setting goals and trying to work towards things. And that has helped me, and it still helps me to this day.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. It is. It is weird how the brain works and how everyone is so different and how we all go through kind of different stories and everyone deals with it differently. And I think that's also very beautiful.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And
So don't be ashamed of it, because you are unique and you are original and you are beautiful, no matter how ugly it can get. You deserve to feel good, to be happy, to, have that dream job, have that dream car.
For sure.
You deserve it all. Everyone
Most
does.
definitely. Most definitely. And even if it takes years to get there, you still deserve it. That's for sure. But I think we're going to end on the fact of whatever it is that you are currently going through. If you're watching this for simply advice, you're not alone at all. And that's just not from us at Expand. I mean, in the world, there's always going to be someone in your proximity that is going to be go through the exact same thing as you. Do not hesitate to get professional support if you feel a requirement to. And do not hesitate to come to us if you feel a requirement to also. We are so unjudgmental, not controversial. It's mad. I hope if you are watching this and you are in Expand and you have gone through something, please contact me. And if you have overcome it, I would like you to get on the upcoming episodes of Mindset Monday and we'll have a sit down discussion about them. Because I think it's such an amazing thing that Livid and Wes in the previous episode has also came out to us and said, I've gone through some things and this is how I've overcome it. And that is exactly what Mindset Monday is about. That whatever it is that you're going through, you are not alone. Someone else has overcome it, and this is exactly what they did to do so. And the most amazing thing is, Livid felt the place that he could announce it and discuss it right here on Mindset Monday for everyone who is currently watching. Has heard it here first, and just show him some appreciation, man. He really deserves it.
I won't be online, so
He won't be online, but I'm sure they'll see it eventually.
Don't send me messages or anything because I'll probably not read it. But
by all means,
yeah, I hope I can say that I've helped people in this way, and that's kind of the mindset why I wanted to be on here, because I hope it will open people's eyes, and not just because of my story, but more about it's just, I hope to inspire people. I've always hoped to inspire people and create an opening for people, and I hope that my story can do that for you too. And maybe if I will be back online one day and you want to reach out to me, go ahead, do it, because that is what I love to do most. And one thing I want to say is, don't be afraid to choose yourself for yourself, because it can be better sometimes to do so.
Definitely. 100%, mate. 100%. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap this up now. I really appreciate Livid you coming on and having a chat with us. Everyone who's watched, if you've watched all the way through, I hope you've really enjoyed this episode. I think it's been a very important one. And I'm sure the next one will include yet another amazing person of the community, because that's what you all are, to be honest.
Thank you, Sam, for creating a platform for people to talk about their things. I think that is...
It's all our platform, mate. It wasn't just me. Granted, I started it, but everyone else throws fuel on that fire of helping each other, so it wasn't just me. Granted,
I know,
my name's on the certificate, but
you need to give yourself some appreciation on this one, because you are the one who's sitting here listening to these stories, talking about these things. Give yourself some appreciation. You are doing awesome. I hope you keep continuing doing this.
It will continue,
because it surely inspired me. And and thank you for it. Even though you might not be the only person who's doing it, you are doing it, and you're helping others.
Well, thanks for being a part of it, bud. And thank you if you're watching now, for being a part of this amazing community and this movement. Do you know what? It's a movement. I don't care. It is. It's the next big thing. It is. I just hope you've took something from this episode. Whether it be you've learned some more about me, or you've met the amazing man himself, LividDS. And I'm sure someday we'll be able to get him on for another chat. Who knows, season 2 or wherever it may be, and he'll be able to tell us some more amazing stories about himself and more about his fantastic job that he does.
Who knows, I can take you into my progression over the years, how it's going.
Let's do it, mate. Let's do it. This is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. My name's Sam. If you need me for anything at all, by all means do contact me. I'll leave my business email in the description if you need to contact me in regards to anything professionally. By all means do so. Livid, thanks again, bud. Really appreciate it.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone. Speak to you soon.